There's no point in trying to deny it. It is 20 years now.
Now, can you lot out there believe that?
Yes.
No, no.
Yes, they can.
It's 19.
It's not 19, it's 20.
Is it?
20.
Well, give me a slap on the wrist then.
20 it is. Well, it's the best part of it.
My God, haven't you changed? No, but you have, Gay.
What?
I remember this fella in Manchester.
Go on, what?
Granada TV days when all your hair was a different colour.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, you're living proof. You're absolutely living proof that Grecian 2000 does not work.
Well done. Yeah.
But you look lovely.
You don't look so bad yourself.
Thanks a
How
lot.
many babbies have we now?
Oh, I've got 3 lads.
3 lads?
3 lads.
How old are they?
Well, our Robert's the eldest. He's 11 and a half. Our Ben, he's 7. Oh, he's just lost his front teeth. Ah, and he's the pretty one, you know, he's got lovely white hair. Oh, he's really white, as I'm red. Mind you, mine's out the bottle. He's white. And he was very pretty, and he lost 1 tooth last week.
Yes.
Then he came in last night with this other tooth hanging on by a thread, and he said, oh, look, Mum, I can twist it back to front.
I know, they do all that, I know, they go through
anyway,
all
our Ben's 7, and our Jack, who doesn't use anything from the bottle, he's got bright red hair, and he's nearly 16 months.
16 months. Is that, you took that time off from all your activities in order to be right for that?
Well, no, Bobby was a bit slow, actually. No, it wasn't planned. Actually, I did lose a little girl in between Ben and Jack. And really, it would have been quite nice because Ben would have been just 2 and little Ellen would have been, you know, well, she would have been, how old is Ben now? 7? She would have been about 5 and a half now. But then we tried and it just didn't happen. But the biggest joy of my life was, of course, having our Jack. Totally unexpected. I found, well, I was in Australia at the time. I found I was pregnant in Australia, and I was ever so worried, you know, because I wanted everything to be right this time. And, oh, he's lovely. He was well worth waiting for.
You're going for a little girl, then? I know the hankering is there for a little girl.
Well, I'm getting on a bit now.
Ah.
Aren't we all? Mind you, Ursula Andress, you've heard of her, haven't you?
Yes.
That big film star. She had her first at 44. Well,
So?
if she can have her first at 44, I can have my last one at 44, can't I?
Tell me this, Cilla. You started now with the Beatles and Freddie and the Dreamers and Brian Epstein and all of that scene, and you were terrific and made a big name and so on. How did you remain so normal when so many of them went into all sorts of depredation, you know?
Well, in the beginning, I don't, you know, normal. You mean not getting big-headed?
No,
I did get big-headed, you know.
Yes, you probably got big-headed, but I mean big-headed. You, but you didn't go on the pot and you didn't go on the drugs and you didn't go off the rails and you didn't do anything daft. I mean, you're normal.
Well, yeah, but I suppose I was regarded as pretty boring as well because I didn't do all those things. No, I think it's the way you're brought up, you know. Although the lads, Paul McCartney, you couldn't meet a nicer fella, even though he's worth £100 million. Did you know that?
Is he?
Now he is normal. He walks around in all these wellies and everything.
He can afford
at
to.
least now I buy proper shoes. I mean, you know, lovely shoes. I won't mention because they won't give me any shoes for nothing anyway if I mention them. But I did go big-headed for a while when I went to, and I knew I went big-headed because I sat in my dad's chair when I went home. And you know, your dad has always got his favourite chair by the fire. And I thought, I've made it. You know, I'm a big star now. I can sit there. And I remember my dad was still working at the time on the docks. And he came home and he just looked at me and he said, "Hey, up." I got up. I soon came back down to earth. But I mean, I think it's keeping close links with your family that keep you, you know, at the same level. And it's not really that you change. It's people change towards you. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, I walked in the hotel tonight and I'd love to be like, just for one day, I'd love to be like Shirley Bassey, because everybody's terrified. When she walks in anywhere, everybody's terrified to say hello to her. She's ever so sophisticated. But the minute I walk into a place and open my gob to speak, you know, all the sophistication is gone.
Give us a bit of Scouse.
I'm sad about...
Give us a bit of your Scouse. Go
Oh,
on.
no.
Go
This
on.
is what I'm doing all the time.
Give us a bit of your Scouse. Go on.
I can do a posh accent better than I can do Scouse.
Do your posh accent, then.
Hello, Gay.
Oh.
How are you? It hurts me to talk. But I once did a comedy series where I had to do the whole half hour talking like that. And it was ever so wonderful. And I kept it up for about a week. Our kids didn't recognise it when I come home. They said, hey, Dad, who's this bird you brought home?
Have you no Scouse expressions, though? Real Scouse expressions? From the docks and from the daddy and all
Oh,
of
there's
that.
loads of them. I mean, now you've hit me with them now. You know, me mum used to say, if I was a bit hard-faced, you know, cheeky towards her, she used to say, hey, here, just because your head's under your arm, don't speak out of place. You know, and if you...
What does that mean?
Well, you know, talking out of your turn, talking out of place, or if, you know, anybody looked at you funny, because, you know, I come from a very tough area. I came from Scotland Road in Liverpool, where there was a pub on every corner. It was smashing. And it was. So you can imagine, you know, on a Saturday night when all the pubs used to let out, and there was lots of fights and everything, there's another expression. If you looked at anybody sideways, you know, funny look, they'd say, who knitted your face and dropped a stitch? You know, oh, there's millions of them. And the other one is, it's all fighting talk. The other one is, are you talking to me or chewing a brick? Lovely sayings, and I can go on forever. And my dad, you know, he was, as I say, he was a docker. And he used to be called Shiner, because you could see, they all had names for the, as you know. You could see he was mad about polishing his boots, even on the docks, you know, you could see your face in his boots. But when I went into show business, they called him the frustrated minstrel, because he didn't know whether he was black or white. I must explain that to you. My real name is White, so they called him the frustrated minstrel.
The story of how you met your husband. How long have you known your husband, in fact?
Oh, even longer. I don't know. I'm not very good at sums. I met him when I was 16, and I'm 38 now, so work that out. 16.
And how did you meet him? What were the circumstances?
Oh, it was a glorified coffee club. I thought Bobby had money. Because I walked into this club and I saw this smashing-looking fella with a suntan. Now I thought, and he's got blonde hair too.
And were you performing now at this stage? Were you already singing?
Only bits. I was getting
and pieces,
about 13 and 6 a night for about 3 hours singing, you know. I was probably only worth that then as well. But I walked in, I saw this lovely fella with a tan. I thought, well, with this blonde hair, he's either foreign or he's got money. And when he spoke, I thought he's definitely got money. Because you see, nobody in them days in Liverpool, in our area, but you know, if they had nobody had a suntan. Nobody could afford to go away on holiday.
It was rust if it was anything.
That's right. And I was so disappointed. Oh, there was a lot of things that Bobby disappointed me in. He lied about his age. He was only 19 and he said he was 21. And I like the older men. At 16, when you're 16, you think, oh, you know, I love older men. You know, because you go and see those films with Doris Day in, and, you know, you think, oh, I want a suave fella. And that's how I met Bobby. And we, you know, it was a children's relationship, really, a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old boy. In fact, when I was 8, I still knew him when I was 18. He never came to my 18th birthday party because we'd had a row. It was that kind of relationship, but it's got stronger over the years.
But did you go out with other fellas in the meantime before he sort of...
At that time, oh, yes. Yeah, because, it was, as I say, there was a big gang of us in Liverpool, of which, a funny story. I used to go out with Ringo at one time, but I gave that up because his nose was much bigger than mine, you see. You know, you keep colliding when you've got a big nose, you do. I've had mine done since then. I did on my 25th birthday. Anyway, I was at this club and I was about sort of 17, and I was with Bobby, and Bobby's on one side and Ringo's on the other. And I thought I was being ever so chic, you know, I'd give Bobby's hand a little squeeze and then Ringo's hand a little squeeze. And it wasn't till about a year ago, and I was so embarrassed. Bobby said, you thought that we didn't know what you were doing? I did. I thought I was pulling the wool over their eyes. You know, they knew exactly what I was doing. I'd keep him happy, give him a little squeeze on the hand and give him a little squeeze. But they were happy times. I would never ever... You can't go back and do the same things.
Of course not, but
I love the times. I wouldn't miss them for the world.
You were very close to John Lennon, weren't you, particularly?
Well, he was really the one who told Brian Epstein about me. He was, I wouldn't say I was closest to John of all, but he was the one who cared very much about my singing, and if it wasn't for him, I don't think that the other three would have even have thought of telling Brian or saying to Brian, you know, why don't you take Cilla on because she's good as well. And that's literally what John did.
Where were you when you heard about John's death?
I was in the Middle East, actually. I remember vividly. We've just gotten down to the swimming pool, lovely weather, Middle East, December, and I overheard, I was sitting with my back to some English-speaking people. I think they were the crew on the aeroplane, and said to me, John Lennon shot. That's all I heard. But Bobby really just went white, and I'd never seen him look so sick before. Because Bobby was very close to John, because he was very much a man's man, John Lennon. You know, he was very shy with women. And I said, what are they saying? And he couldn't speak. So we just immediately got up and went to the our hotel room. And on the way up, he said, I'm sure I heard them say that John Lennon's been shot dead. And then when I opened the door and just switched on the radio, and I heard John Lennon singing, I said, oh, Bobby, they don't do things like that. They only play tributes like that if there's something, if they are dead.
Something dreadful, yes.
So it was really a rotten. I had to go on and perform that night, and I did imagine in my act, and I couldn't get through it. Even when I do it now on stage, it's very emotional for me. But it's also a super song.
Tell me this, what would you have been if you hadn't been what you are?
Oh, I think I would have been an hairdresser. I love fiddling with hair.
Oh, do you?
I do. I used to do Ringo's mother's hair. I did on a Wednesday. I used to go up there. I used to dye. God love me. I used to dye her hair. She wanted it blonde. Used to come out horrible platinum. She never ever complained. My mother wouldn't let me know her hair, but Mrs. Starkey let me do her hair, and I loved doing it. And always after when I did it, it was quite nice. She used to give us spam and chips to eat. Oh, it was lovely though. I mean, I can still taste the spam.
I could imagine you, not particularly me, getting a kick out of doing Ringo's hair, but Ringo's mother's hair.
Well, she was the only one who'd let me do her hair. Yeah, I like that. I love colour. I've always fiddled with me hair. When I've been red since I was 13, I bought a 7-penny rinse from Woolies. And I came home and I got a toothbrush. I never followed the directions, but you were supposed to put it in the bowl and you just rinse it over for hours, and that just took too long. So I got a toothbrush and I painted it on. And my God, it came out, it was like this, but worse, carrots. And when I never forget, when I went to school, and our headmistress was very stern, little Sister Marie-Julie, very stern. And she said, Priscilla, because she called me Priscilla. She gave me the full title, Priscilla Maria Veronica, she said. What have you done to your hair? I said, nothing, sister. She knew what she did to teach me a lesson. She sat me under a window where the sun shone in. And she said, to show me up. But I was just the attraction of the class. I was a maid. They were all saying, oh, your hair's fab. That's great. Where'd you get your hair done? So I was like the cock of the class then. It was wonderful. And it's been like that ever since I was 30. I wouldn't know what my own colour was now.
You would have had your own salon by now then.
Oh, knowing
making
me,
money.
I'd have a string. Because I'm always on the go. Yeah. I'm never happy. I'm a Gemini, stars. I don't know whether you're interested in stars. The girls are, aren't you, girls? Yes. I always read. Don't you read the stars? And I always read them. And I'm a Gemini, you see, which means a twin personality, but I'm not really that way. I can be happy one minute and sad the next, but it also means I'm not really content just with one way of life. I've got to have several strings to me bow.
Are you going to sing another song for us?
Is that your way of telling me to shut up?
Yeah. That's the way we do it.
I'd love
Get
to.
Over and do another song. Wait a minute, are you going to pack them in on Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday at the concert hall?
Well, I hope so.
Have you seen the concert hall?
No, I believe it's a beautiful place.
Nice hall.
And you deserve a theatre
I can tell
like
you,
that.
you've played worse. You've played worse.
I'm looking forward to it.
You played. What's this song then?
This song is the lovely Anne Murray song, You Needed Me.
Oh. You'll be singing it for me, will you, sir?
I will, yes. I will. And I'll get you one of those 7-penny rinses from Woolies for you.
Get over it. Get over it. Well done. Oh, dear, oh dear.
I cried a tear, you wiped it dry. I was confused, you cleared my mind. I sold my soul, you bought it back for me and held me up and gave me dignity. Somehow you needed me, you gave me strength to stand alone again, to face this world